What if everything you've learned about real estate investing is wrong? What if you could just walk into the county office and buy property simply by paying the outstanding back taxes that are owed? This is a way of real estate investing that perhaps some folks have heard of, but they've not dug into. So this is called over-the-counter tax deeds, and perhaps you've heard of it. And today we're going to talk about some locations that could have some amazing deals. So an over-the-counter tax deed is a property that did not sell at the tax deed auction. So from there, the cool thing about an over-the-counter tax deed is the fact that you can just go in and buy that property simply by paying the outstanding back taxes owed. And today we're going to talk about how to do it. We're going to talk about how the game of Monopoly is a correlation to finding these over-the-counter tax deeds and how that fits into your investment strategy. So if you feel like maybe you're a little bit late to the game in getting started in real estate, maybe you're watching and you wish you would have started real estate investing 20 years ago, then this can be an amazing way to catch up in the game of life, because we know that most people, when they think about their retirement, it's not a pleasant thought. They realize like, oh, wow, the cost of living is going through the roof. The average amount a couple needs just in medical expenses alone to retire is like $250,000 if you retire at the age of 65. So most people grossly underestimate how much money they need to live on as they retire. So this is why we love the vehicle of tax liens and deeds. It's a good way, in my opinion, to catch up. In my opinion, it's one of the best ways to catch up in real estate, because you get such an arbitrage. If you're like the average person, you're fighting for scraps on Zillow, you're talking to realtors, hoping for a good deal, and you're just kind of doing what everybody else is doing. But if you're watching this, we can have a different solution for you. So maybe you're new to the channel and you're thinking, who's this guy? Why should I listen to him? So it's Dustin Hahn here. And I've been a tax lien and deed investor now for like 22 years. And it was this business that allowed me to I got out of the oil rigs, was a miserable worker on the oil rigs, and started buying these properties at these tax deed sales. And back then it was like this unheard of universe of how do we buy these properties. And fast forward to today, obviously the internet makes it a little more accessible, but it's still an amazing arbitrage opportunity for you to get into real estate, because not a lot of people know how this game works. So I created this channel to help folks figure out tax lien and deed investing. We have like 3,000 videos. And everybody that tunes in, if you want a free book, we give away the ABCs of tax lien and deed investing in the description and the directory, so you can crack it open and find some deals. So let's just lay a little bit of groundwork when it comes to tax lien and deed investing. So if we understand the basics, then you can go out and start buying some of these properties. And then from there, I will show you some locations that could have some really good over-the-counter deeds. If they don't have over-the-counter deeds, you're going to learn how to do it. So half of the states in the US are tax lien states. This is where you basically act as the bank and you pay someone else's taxes on their behalf, right? Sounds like a weird concept, but the county is a business. They've been doing this business for 200 years at least, and they need a way to pay for the fire trucks, the schools, all that sort of stuff, right? Oh, by the way, if you guys like this, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Ask me a question in the comments. Forgot, we are live. This is a live stream. So let me know who's here, who's tuning in, and I would love to answer any questions while we're here today. So half of the state's tax liens, you basically act as the bank. The cool thing about a tax lien is your principal, your money is backed by collateral, which is the real estate, right? When we look at a bank, when they lend you money, what do they want? That's collateral. So you might not even know this, but there's a strong chance you're already a tax lien investor, because guess who's one of the largest investors in tax liens? That is the good old bank. Well, they pay you pennies. They invest your money into tax liens. You might as well do it yourself. However, the other half of the states are called a tax deed state. In a tax deed state, the county says, all right, you haven't paid your taxes in 4 or 5 years. Pay your taxes by July 15th, or we're going to auction your property off, and the opening bid is going to be the outstanding back taxes owed. So this is a great opportunity to be able to get some properties, to get some amazing deals if you know what you're doing. Now, obviously, one of the biggest mistakes people make is they don't learn the rules. So I've finally got a Monopoly board here. So imagine tax liens and deeds like the game of Monopoly. Okay, here we go. Where are we? So we have the game Monopoly. Everybody's familiar with this, except change the name to tax lien and deed investing. So our goal with the channel here is to teach you guys how the game of Monopoly, tax liens and deeds is played. So we know we're on the board here. Half of them are lien states, half of them are deed states. Which state are you going to land on, right? Is the name of the game. However, think of it like this. We're going to teach you how the game works, but the key distinction is when you play this game, you metaphorically go to the county and you say, hey, I want to play tax lien and deed Monopoly in your county, but I need the rules on how to play the game in your county. So every single county will have its own set of rules. So this is one of the biggest things that keeps people out, is because there's 3,300 counties, there's 3,300 different sets of rules that you need to learn how to play by. So it's not that difficult once you learn kind of how to operate, right? It's the same way as if you're driving a car in Florida, you know how to drive, you know how to read. You know, you go over into Georgia, you look at the road signs, oh, speed limit's changed to 60 instead of 65. You can know the rules of the road because you're familiar with how to drive. So that's kind of my analogy here today, is if you know how the game is played, you can show up anywhere, get the rules, and start playing the game. So today we're talking about the OTC game, which is one of my favorite games. In fact, I've bought OTC property sometimes for like $50, which is pretty cool. Obviously, it was a small piece of land, and it was worth, like $5,000. But it was a very, very good opportunity for myself to just show me that, hey, this is a real business. And I know for you guys watching this, you're looking for something that you can kind of believe in. And once you get your first deal, it's kind of like the floodgates open up. And, you're really just one deal away from proving to yourself that you can actually do this business. So the easiest thing to do is get the rules for the county that you want to play the game, crack it open, and read the rules. What type of deals and trades, what's the rules on the building. I need some help. This is why this channel is here, to give you help. We got free parking over here. You go to jail, right? If you do bad things on your land, you're going to go to jail. But this is how we play the game. So there's a lot of folks who you might hear online. They'll be like, oh, there's a reason these things don't sell at the tax deed sale. They're all garbage. They're all junk. And guess what? 90% of the time, they're right. 90% of the time, it's the junk that doesn't sell at the tax deed sale. However, 10% of the properties, and remember, there are thousands of these things sitting in county inventory right now. 10% of the time, there can be some real gems that are just left over. And some of these could be known as like a repository list. But the easiest thing to do is just ask for the list of properties that didn't sell. Now, sometimes there's apartment buildings, farmland, commercial land, small lots, you name it. There are thousands of these sitting there right now. You just need to go and take action. So why don't people do this, right? Well, the thing is, to being honest, it does take a little bit of elbow grease, right? Like tax liens and deeds sometimes might be a little bit boring. And I think the internet that we live in, people are afraid of boring. They're just strategy hopping from one strategy to the next, to the next, to the next. And the next thing you know, 5 years have gone by and they don't have any deals, but they are an expert, or they're an armchair know-it-all on many topics, but they have nothing to back it up. So my philosophy on this is like, all right, I keep this thing on my desk to remind me that, like the sands through the hourglass, one day I'm going to run out of time in my life. And we don't know how many more of these we have. We don't know if there's somebody close to us that might have a terminal disease. This time last year, my stepfather passed away out of nowhere, and he's only like 63. So we don't know how many of these we have left. So we have to play to win, and we have to take smart bets. Most folks online are just strategy hopping. And the honest truth is, you're not going to create wealth with your thumbs, with your phone in your hand. That's the honest truth. You're going to make your money by researching properties at your computer and doing research on deals. So think about it this way. Every time you're scrolling with your thumbs, you're robbing yourself of potential wealth that you can be creating. So back to the boring work. The simplest thing you're going to do to find some locations of over-the-counter tax deeds, what I like to do, just like a storm chaser who follows storms, you want to follow tax deed sales and then call them up the day after the tax deed auction and ask them, hey, can I get a list of the properties that didn't sell? Also, can I get the rules on how to buy these things? What form of payments taken? Is there a deposit? Do you want cash? Can I pay with a credit card? When I buy this property, do the outstanding liens get wiped out? So here is one of the biggest mistakes people make that costs them money in this game. And if you like this, guys, do me a favor, hit thumbs up. Warm welcome to everybody here. Cindy, welcome. Good to see you here. And anybody else, let me know your name and your city, and I can answer anything. Michigan is a great spot. I'll tell you in a second why I love Michigan for tax lien and deed investing. So when you're calling the county, the thing you want to ask is like, hey, how do I find out if there's any municipal liens on this property? Because the number one mistake people make when they're buying over-the-counter tax deeds or tax deeds in general is they don't check the county code violations on the property. And we've seen this many times where there's, a grass cutting lien that's outstanding for 10 years. And by the time you've added all of the interest that's worth, there's like $10,000, $20,000 in grass cutting liens on the property. So those don't get wiped out because that is like a house lien, right? The beautiful thing about tax liens and deeds is they wipe out liens, mortgages, all that sort of stuff. But the county is generally not going to wipe out their own lien. So you need to check into that. Now, one of the things you can do, though, is you can ask the county, you can go and perhaps negotiate with the city. And in fact, I did this once. Like I said, it was a $50 property, but it had a $5,000 trash removal lien on it. And I went over, it was like right across from the assessor's office, walked over to the code enforcement office. And I said, hey, this property's been sitting in your inventory for like 5 years. I'm willing to buy it, but it doesn't make sense for me to buy because of this lien you put on it. If you guys remove the lien, I'll buy it. I'll clean it up. We'll get this thing back on the tax roll. And they actually did. So you need to look at this, through that perspective as well, creatively, right? And when we're doing this stuff, you have to have a creative lens doing it. Sure, some things are going to be simple. It's like a single family home, good condition. I get it for 10. I can sell it for 50. Very good. However, sometimes, it could be a car wash or a convenience store or a parking lot. We don't discriminate. Well, you do discriminate a little bit, like if it's in a terrible neighborhood, but don't discriminate the type of properties that are coming up. So I'm going to show you guys some good spots that could be some hot action here. Let me pull up my screen. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to share this window here. Here we go. Boom. So these are always posted on our YouTube posts as well. Arkansas is a great place for over-the-counter tax deeds. There are thousands of these things sitting in inventory right now in the Commissioner Land Bank as well. However, we've got tons of good deals in Arkansas in the past before. So we have an auction coming up July 21st here in Sebastian County. And from here, the cool thing is there's going to be 100 tax deeds that are coming up in Sebastian County. And the auction's at 10 a.m. So you can attend the auction, but more importantly, you can check right after the auction what didn't sell. Okay. So they're going to stop the sale by 4 p.m. as well. And from here, remember, no cash accepted, and you have to research the title. So just a perfect example, find the date of the auction. You can attend the auction, or what you can do is just call them right after. So we got tons of these coming up. This July is Arkansas time. So even if you don't live in Arkansas, go and follow along with the auction and see what they have in inventory. So we have tons coming up in July in Arkansas. We got Clark, Arkansas, 41 tax deeds, July 16th. That's going to be coming up here very soon. We're going to have Nevada, Arkansas, also July 16th, 40 tax deeds here. Dallas, Arkansas, lots coming up on the 16th. So you guys, you just need to call the county after the auction and ask, hey, what happens to the properties that didn't sell? How do I get that list? We got tons of sales coming up, North Carolina as well. And we got tons of these on our page here. Let's see, over 170 tax deeds are in Ouachita County, Arkansas. Let's see, when is that auction? That's going to be July 16th. So here's a property here. There are tons of these things coming up. Now, obviously something like this could be a bit questionable, but properties like this, sometimes you pick them up for $2,000-3,000, could sell them for $10,000-20,000, depending on the property. There are plenty of deals coming up. So if you guys are ready to hit up some deals, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. This is just an example, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, I don't live in Arkansas. How is this relevant to me? And here's how it's relevant. In my opinion, one of the biggest things that is robbing folks from making money is they think to themselves like, oh, I live in California. How is Arkansas relevant to me? Right? Well, it's like, okay, you live in California. Do you know details on sports teams in New York, sports teams in Chicago? Do you know details on sports teams in Texas? Right? The thing that blows me away is people know all these details on sports teams in other cities, but when it comes to perhaps researching an auction in another city, people are like, oh yeah, that's not my backyard. If you treat this the same way you would treat becoming a professional in your career, one of the things I can promise you is that it will take a fraction of the time and you will start to get deals. You'll start to find these deals, but the first thing you have to do is literally show up and just get the list of properties and see what's there. Just start looking through them and get the phone number to the county, get the list. And these days with AI, you can have AI scrub the list for you and basically build it around your buy box. And this is one of the best opportunities to be getting into tax lien and deed investing. That's definitely one of my arguments. And we try to make this stuff as easy as possible. We just did a video. This July is one of our favorite times for tax deed investing. And the reason is because the sale just happened this week that is after the 4th of July is often one of the best sales of the year. So Texas and Georgia, first Tuesday of every month. And those sales after the 4th of July are grand slam sales because first off, you have more properties going to auction because less people are paying their taxes near 4th of July due to whatever travel and party and this and that. You have less bankers paying taxes and redeeming because they're bankers and they're going off to their lake house or traveling or whatever it is bankers do. But there's definitely an influx. You have a lag in the county where maybe they're not as diligent. So you're going to have more properties at the July sale. And the heavy hitters, the people with money, the reason why we love it is what do people with money like to do at the 4th of July? They like to go to their lake house, grab the boat. So the July sale, you have a perfect storm of excess property and less competition. So that one just happened. So you literally have all of 254 counties in Texas that just had auctions. You have all of the counties in Georgia that just had their auctions as well. So if you live in those states, give them a call, get the rules, get the lists, and see what is left over. So you really just need to be a bit of a storm chaser when it comes to over-the-counter tax deeds. And it can happen with tax liens as well. So check this out. So our goal, like I mentioned, is to make this as easy as possible. So one of the free gifts that I have for everybody here, it's called the Tax Deed Freedom Blueprint. And at the end of the day, a lot of the times we don't need more information. We need implementation. And what this does is my team and I build a custom blueprint for you based on what you want to do. So what we would do is hop on the phone with you, figure out where you want to invest, what's your budget, and we'll just pull auctions for you to save you some time. And then we'll show you some of the risks to avoid as well. So these are all custom personalized blueprints. And then we give you 7 steps. So that's available below. If you want to book a call, we build it for you totally free. So you guys can check that out as well. So Cindy's in Michigan. Michigan sales are going to be coming up. And there's tons of good deals in Michigan. And what I like about Michigan is you can actually buy a lot of these properties on credit card in Michigan, which is awesome. You can use your credit card. A lot of people will get a 0% credit card and then buy property in Michigan, flip it, and then sell the credit card off. So that is always a good option. So check this out. What we've done to try to make this as easy as possible for you guys is we built an auction calendar and map that is free and interactive for anybody who wants to get started. So if you're curious as far as, do I live in a lien state? Do I live in a deed state? Just take a screenshot of this. Anything in red is a tax deed state. Anything in green, tax lien. Anything in orange here, could be yellow, I'm slightly colorblind, is both tax liens and deeds, and then a redeemable state, deed states are in blue. So you guys can take a picture of this. You can come click on it. It's literally on the Tax Lien School Knowledge Vault. Easiest way to get there is just go to taxlienschool.com, click on the Knowledge Vault, and put in your email. It's free to access, and then everybody can see a week of auctions below. So we have all these auctions coming up. Arkansas, lots going on. Washington County, Florida as well. July 14th, good auction. We have Valencia coming up here as well. This could be a good auction in New Mexico for you guys. Of course, we got Philadelphia coming up on the 15th, which will be very soon as well. Philadelphia County, 10 a.m. So these are good auctions. We do them live a lot. We got Palm Beach coming up. Every single one of these auctions, you guys can call them up and ask for the list of properties that didn't sell and try to get some over-the-counter tax deeds. We got Clark County. Man, there's a few Clark counties out there as well. Always be careful when you're looking at a county like Clark, because there's one in Nevada. There's been several times where we've been researching property in the wrong state. So make sure to double check you're in the right one. We got Illinois coming up as well. Illinois also offers tax liens, 18% every 6 months. Very, very cool. Henderson County. And this is interactive maps. So you can click on it. It'll take you right to the auction and show you what's going on. We got the phone number. We have the minimum bid, $845. Let's see. Yeah, there's mobile homes coming up, terms of sale. So we have a lot of the rules literally just right here on the site for you guys. So here's the homework right now is try to find some of these. Take the dates, take a look at the auction calendar, grab the map. If you want help, you can just schedule a call here. We'll be more than happy to walk you through what that looks like. And it's time to get started. So I hope you guys like this. Thumbs up, grab some OTCs, come back, ask me any questions you have. We are here to help every step of the way. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will have Josh back here on the next one. We'll see you guys soon.